It is said, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. When I first heard this statement, it didn't make any sense for me. How can you understand something that you don't have anymore, that you've lost? Then I've listened to Ai Weiwei, a Chinese artist and dissident. Maybe you remember the installation he made in Tate Modern with sunflower seeds a couple of years ago. He's an artist, poet, architect, and actively campaigns and criticizes government and corruption. He was jailed for 81 days without any official charges being filed. And he said, freedom is like air. You don't notice it until you lose it. And how true it was when several months ago I was sitting behind a black curtain with no freedom to talk, with no freedom to move, to run away, with no freedom to leave. Accordingly to police, there were more than 200 bullets shot at the terrorist attack in Copenhagen during the free speech event. But before I will tell you why I was there and what led me to that cafe on the 14th of February, I would like to ask you a question. What is freedom? What freedom means to you? And what is the joy of female freedom? How does it feel? And this is a question not only directed to women, but equally to men and women. How does it feel to enjoy that female freedom? So we meet many women and girls in our lives, but some of them fell to your heart more than others. They inspire you more than others as well. And one of those inspiring and most inspiring women, at that time a girl, I met in Moscow. I bumped into Zara, an Armenian girl, at the entrance to the school. And she was inquiring how to progress with her education, and she was accompanied by someone who looked a bit older than her. So I showed her the area around, I introduced the people, we started to be really good friends, we started to also spend time together, cooking, studying, laughing, enjoying each other's company, inviting each other to our homes. And I've learned a lot about Armenian culture and its customs. And it was fascinating to see how her mother kept the tradition, the language, the origin, the roots, even hundreds of miles away from their home country. She was almost like a transmission holder. She was transmitting this knowledge from grandmother to mother, from mother to daughter, from daughter to granddaughter. So we would chat all night long, exchange different ideas about women's role in the family, equal rights for men and women. We don't always agree, but that was fascinating, probably, those discussions like that. When the words couldn't express our feelings, Zara started to sing her Armenian songs. And it didn't matter for me that I didn't understand the language, just my feet started to tap, my body started to move, and then the dancing could continue till the dawn. We were singing, we were dancing, we were celebrating the life. That was all freedom was all about. We felt free. So it was not a coincidence when I went back to Poland. I kept Armenian connections, and I co-organized the Armenian exhibition about Armenian genocide. Because after those singing, celebrating, and dancing, there was a moment when her mother would bustle in the kitchen, cut the bread, prepare the breakfast, and prepare the coffee, and she looked at the grounds. She looked at the grounds of coffee and started to foretell the future. And it was a very magical, but also a very natural moment, where her insight and deep knowledge was shared. She embodied the women's qualities, the wisdom and inner strength. And she was still looking with brightness and opportunities into the future, despite the fact how cruel and difficult her family history was. And it was not only her family history, it was the whole nation's history. So I went back to Poland and I co-organized that exhibition about Armenian genocide. In 1915, it was the Ottoman Empire's systematic extermination of its minority Armenian people from their historic homeland. After the first stage of state-orchestrated extermination policy directed to male population, the Ottoman governors directed their extermination to the female part, this time targeted the elderly, children, and women. Up to 1.5 million people, Armenian people, were killed just because they were Christians. So I met a friend, and he was a student of university in Krakow, and he was doing a master degree about this historical fact in Krakow. And he wanted to gather a bit more evidence, a bit more materials and videos and photographs. So he went to Turkey. In 2002, he crossed the border, and he never came back. He disappeared. But the memory does not disappear. So what is freedom? How easy is it to lose it? And how difficult is to get it back? So I met Camilla. She's actually sitting in front row that time. She's a really brave lady. She's a brilliant example how being a mother, a best friend, a wife, one can still be very active and help others and work hard for others. So we put photographs together. We received the permission from the city council to organize the exhibition. We printed all the photographs and we were ready, and we got everything ready for this exhibition. And before the opening, we received a phone call from the same city council with a request that the exhibition has to be shut down. To our surprise, the exhibition has to be. Why? Why it has to be shut down? They said the images were too shocking. That is one of the images. Judge by yourself. Yes, it is shocking. Yes, it is true. Don't you think we have a right to see it so we can learn from history? So we did exhibition anyway in a different place, and people were very thankful and grateful. And later on we found out that the ambassador from a certain country called the city council with a request and with the blackmailing the minister that if they don't shut down this exhibition, they will cancel all business investments. So for me, it was a moment when I realized how image can be powerful, how image can speak 1,000 words. When long debates, discussions, talks don't work, one photograph can make a change. So Camilla moved to London, and I followed her, and 8 years ago she founded Passion for Freedom Art Festival. The core team consists mainly of women, very brave women, committed to the freedom topic. And each year, during evenings, weekends, as a charity, we reach out to artists who are censored, jailed, imprisoned, have difficulties with freely expressing themselves in UK, but also in other countries. Each year, we ask 3 pivotal questions. What is freedom? How easy is it to lose it? How hard is it to get it back? And we receive thousands of artworks wherever the human rights were abused, the women's rights were abused, the women were not treated equally as a second-class citizen, dehumanized or put into danger. The artists, not the politicians, the artists were standing up and speaking up with an image, video, photograph, film. And up till now, we showcase more than 300 artworks from 50 different countries, beginning from United Kingdom, France, Poland, Russia, China, Japan, Peru, Venezuela, United States, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Israel. Maybe Greenland is missing on this list, I think. So those 3 pivotal questions, what is freedom, how is it easy to lose it, and how hard is it to get it back, are very important. Accordingly to UN, if you suppress 50% of your population, you suppress 50% of your qualities. So if you suppress women, the men will not flourish as well. And accordingly to UN, every year there are more than 5,000 women murdered and girls murdered as a result of honor killings. And the women in Southeast Asia and also Middle East estimate that this figure is 4 times bigger. The perpetrators are very often very close family, a husband or a father or a cousin or a brother. And in UK, it is a new trend. Henry Jackson Society report documented 12 cases this year. And one of our artists, Passion for Freedom artist, Hangama Amiri, discovered these figures. She was inspired to create this artwork, The Raining Stones. It speaks for itself. Accordingly to UN as well, every year 100 million, up to 140 million women and girls have undergone female genital mutilation. In UK, the number is shocking. More than 68,000 women have undergone female genital mutilation. And the cases are rising. Every day there are 3,000 to 4,000 cases reported. So when Maya Volna, another Passion for Freedom artist, discovered these statistics, she created a series of posters. And this is one of them. So Passion for Freedom highlights such artists who stand up for women's rights, who protect and strengthen women's rights, but also highlights artists who celebrate the women's body, the women's freedom to express whatever others say. So it was not a wonder why, when guests came to the festival and to the private view, they were hypnotized by this beautiful image, the siren. It was a video done by the Laura Jean Healy. So what went well in the gallery space was not accepted in internet, as well as the image from Chinese artist skirt lifting. It was censored, it was banned on Facebook, YouTube, Google. It was censored because they were showing the naked body. So one artist did a test. He went to the National Gallery and did a couple of photographs of ancient Greek sculptures. He posted those pictures, close-up and details online on Facebook of ancient marble bodies. And guess what? Facebook censored his images. So then I thought, Facebook is afraid of nipples, but it is okay to show the beheadings. And unfortunately, there are many artists who self-censor themselves. If they learn that they were shortlisted for Passion for Freedom Festival, they cancel their entry, or they submit their artwork under the pseudonym or nickname. Others ask not to be photographed during the private view. And even those who won the award, they ask not to be interviewed because they are afraid of their families or of the life of themselves. And we had to answer those three pivotal questions ourselves when 2 years ago, days before the exhibition official opening, the venue pulled. We received an email from the gallery director that the exhibition will be shut down. It was not a phone call at that time, it was an email. So we had 48 hours till the official opening, thousands of guests, hundreds of artworks, and no space to show. But we didn't give up. In 2 days, we were signing the contract with another gallery next to Tate Modern, and with a big smile and sense of victory, we were opening the doors to our artists and special guests and journalists and thousands of guests. So art is a barometer of how much freedom we have in our societies, how much freedom of expression we have. And that's why maybe last year we received a lot of artworks from Ukraine. And I met Inna Shevchenko. Maybe you know her from the media. She is running her international organization, Femen. And she paints slogan on her topless body. She puts a crown with flowers and runs to protest against exploitation of women, against dictatorships, religion, and sex industry. So together with Passion for Freedom, Lars Vilks and Inna Shevchenko was invited to join a panel discussion on freedom of women and freedom of speech in Copenhagen on 14th of February. Myself and Agnieszka Kołek, Passion for Freedom curator, arrived a little bit earlier. We just wanted to meet organizers, have a cup of tea, give some first interviews. The security checks were as standard as the airport. They were scanning bags, checking the bags, scanning bodies with metal detectors. There were several policemen in the area. Later I've learned there were 2 Danish policemen undercover and 2 Swedish policemen undercover. So slowly the guests were arriving, buying in the last minute tickets. and slowly the whole full theater was filled. We were not more than 50 people. So organizer Helen Briggs, another brave woman, she opened the event. The French ambassador continued with his speech, and we commemorated with a 1 minute of silence the death of 12 cartoonists who were killed in Paris in the beginning of January. It was just a month after. And then Ina Shevchenko shared her story, how she met Sharp from Charlie Hebdo, and how she said that we live in a false illusion that we have freedom of expression in Europe. And she was elaborating, and she was saying that we have this freedom of expression, we can talk about this, but we cannot exercise it. And then she started to elaborate on the fact that there is a big majority of people who try to justify terrorists. And they say, yes, it is horrible what happened. Yes, it is cruel. But when she was saying that, it was the first shots happened. Bam, 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 bam. It was like that. So Lars was evacuated quickly by police. Ina was as well evacuated. Agnieszka hid behind the stage. And I was still in the room with my back to the glass door. The shots intensified, and I heard he was inside already shooting the bar. So I ran through the room, through broken chairs and tables upside down, and I hid behind the black curtain. And I was sitting there, cowered, waiting like a duck to be shot. So what is freedom? How is it easy to lose it? How hard is it to get it back? The whole bar was showered with bullets. The police was screaming, shouting, running, and after some time it got quiet. And the First Lady sneaked out from the bar and looked around the room, and she started to check if everything is okay, if everyone is alive. The police was running and bleeding. Someone was lying in the lobby, but it seems everyone was alive. So everyone was still in the shock, texting closest family, phoning, yes, we are alive. And we couldn't leave the room. The police didn't allow us to do so. So we stayed in the room. And then Agnieszka came with the idea that we came here for the reason, she said. They don't want to kill us. They want also to shut us down. Let's continue. So we put the chairs together, we put the tables back, someone adjusted the projector, someone put the candles back on, and we made the presentation and continued. We didn't give up. Then exactly, where there were still questions and answers from the floor, they were still exchanging some ideas, and then the police came exactly in the moment when we finished, and we were evacuated to the police station. We were safe. But the filmmaker was not. Finn was shot dead outside. So it took me a while to get back to normal life and look back to this experience with a different glance. And I understood deeply in my bones how precious life is and how freedom is important. And how I would like not to live on knees in the fear that I said something too much or crossed the line or I painted something too much and I could be killed for that. I cannot live in the fear. It doesn't make any sense. I would like to celebrate the life. I would like to enjoy my life, enjoy the body, enjoy the daily life, enjoy my friends and whatever I speak and say or paint or do. So I can't do everything, but I can't do nothing. And I think we need thousands, hundreds, millions of women who would say and stand and say, here I am, as I am, unarmed, naked. None should be telling me what to wear, what to say, what to think, who to marry, who to be friends with. Let me choose myself. Let me be my own woman. Let me be free. Thank you.